we have a situation here. We have a lake, and in this lake we have 4 gardens. We have garden A, garden B, garden C, and garden D. Now, the gardener lives on this island, which is located at the center of this circular lake. Now, the gardener decides that he cannot swim to every garden every day. So, what can be an easier task? Well, he has a plank of wood. So, he decides that he will place the plank of wood at each of the gardens, and he will travel to these gardens and water the plants. Now, he knew that gardens A, B, and C are equal in length, while garden D is a bit smaller in length compared to the other 3 gardens. So, he tried the plank idea which he had thought about. So, he measured the distance between the island and garden A, and then he cut out a plank and he placed it like this. So, he was easily able to go to garden A and water the plants. Now, he tried to use the same plank on garden B, and he saw that even in this case, the plank was enough to reach garden B. So, the distance between island and garden A and distance between island and garden B are same. We can assume that because the same plank can reach both of them. Now, he tried the same plank on garden C, and even there he could see that he can exactly reach garden C, which means that garden C is also of the same distance from the island as other 2 gardens. So, he was very confident that he'll be able to reach garden D too. But he saw that the plank was not enough to reach garden D. So, what is common about garden A, garden B, and garden C? That all of them are at an equal distance from this particular island, but garden D is farther away. Well, we know that the common thing between these 3 gardens is that all of them are of equal length, while garden D was a bit smaller and hence it was farther away. So, do we understand any property from this? Well, yes. We are talking about a circular lake, and that is why we were able to see this particular property. So, if we draw this particular scenario in terms of a circle and its different components, then we will be able to understand the particular property better. So, we can say that this particular lake is a circle, and all these gardens are nothing but chords of this circle. So, if we draw this particular thing here, then we have garden A, which is a chord, garden B is another chord, garden C is another chord, and garden D is another chord. Also, this center is the center of the circle or the island, and this line segment here is nothing but the wooden plank which the gardener was using. So, what did he see? He saw that this particular plank exactly reached garden A. Now, the same line segment could reach garden B too. So, we can say that garden A and garden B are at equal distance from the center, or chord A and chord B are at equal distance from the center. Similarly, even chord C is at equal distance from the center. And we also know that A, B and C are of equal length. Now in the case of garden D, it is not of equal distance. That is, its distance is not the same as the distance of island and other three gardens. So we can say that equal chords here are equidistant from the center, while unequal chord has a different distance from the center. And that is why the gardener faced this particular problem. It was so easy for him to reach garden A, B and C using the same plank, but when it came to garden D, it was a chord of a different length and its distance from the center was also different. And what do we call this particular property? It's a very important theorem of circles. And the theorem mentions that equal chords are equidistant from the center. So the theorem is equal chords of a circle are equidistant from the center. Now, what happened in the case of lake? Is it true for any particular circle? Yes, it is. And we can prove it. And once we'll be able to prove it, we can be sure that this particular property is true for any circle and any number of chords. So first of all, let's understand what is given in our case. So we have a circle and we have two chords, UT and RS. Now both the chords are equal. And what we need to prove? We need to prove that both these chords are equidistant from center M. So for that we'll do some constructions. First construction is we'll join MS and MT. So we'll join MS and MT. Next, we will also draw PM, which is perpendicular to RS, and QM, which is perpendicular to UT. So we have one perpendicular here and one perpendicular here. So these are the constructions which we have made. Now we need to prove that PM is equal to QM, because when we talk about the perpendicular here, that defines the distance of the chord from the center. So both these perpendiculars, if they are equal, then we can say that chords RS and UT are equidistant from the center. So how do we prove it? Well, let's see. First of all, let's understand one simple fact. PS is equal to half RS and QT is equal to half UT. Why do I say so? When we talk about PS, we say that PS is half RS. Why? Because we are dropping a perpendicular from the center. So on point P, we have a perpendicular from the center, and when a perpendicular is dropped from the center on a chord, then it bisects the chord. So here we have RP is equal to PS, or we can say that PS is half of RS. Similarly, even in the case of QT, we have QM, which is a perpendicular dropped on UT, and it will bisect the chord UT, and we will have UQ is equal to QT, or we can say that QT is half of UT, and from that we can infer that PS is equal to QT because RS is equal to UT, so their halves will also be equal. So PS is equal to QT. That's one finding. Now let's consider triangles MPS and MQT. So we have this triangle and this triangle. Now these two triangles need to be proved congruent. Only then we can prove that PM is equal to QT. M. So in these two triangles, first of all, we have already calculated that PS is equal to QT. So that's one finding which we already have. So we have PS is equal to QT. So one pair of sides we have proved equal. Next, we can say that angle MPS is equal to angle MQT. Why do we say so? Because we have dropped perpendiculars here. It means that this is 90 degrees and this is also 90 degrees. So these two angles are equal. Then MS is equal to MT. Why do I say so? Because MS is a line segment that joins a point on the circle S and center M. So MS, which is radius. Similarly, we have MT, where we have point T, which is a point on the circle, and we have center M joined by the line segment MT. So it is a radius again. So radii of the same circle will be equal. So MS is equal to MT. So we have right angles. We have proved them equal. Then we also have the hypotenuse here in both the cases, that is MS and MT. They have been proved equal, and also one of the sides PS and QT have been proved equal. So we can say that triangle MPS is congruent to triangle MQT by RHS congruency, that is right angle, hypotenuse and side. So right angle, hypotenuse and side. So from this we have this congruency. From this we can infer that PM is equal to QM, because they are corresponding parts of congruent triangles. So PM is equal to QM. So we can say that RS and UT are chords which are equidistant from the center of the circle. And how did we prove it? We were able to prove it because the length of RS and UT was same. That is, because two chords are of equal length, that is why we were able to prove that they are equidistant from the center. Now, what if I talk about the converse of it? That is, if I say two chords are equidistant from the center, then will they be of equal length? Let's see. So converse of this theorem is chords equidistant from the center of a circle are equal in length. So here we have considered that they are equidistant, but we don't know the lengths. We have to prove that the lengths are same. So here what is given? Well, first of all we have PM and QM. Now both these are perpendiculars on the corresponding chords. Also PM is equal to QM, because we have considered that both the chords are equidistant from the center. So we have PM is equal to QM. Now we need to prove that RS is equal to UT. This is something which is not given. This needs to be proven on the basis of the given facts. So first of all, we'll do a construction. We'll join MS and MT. So MS and MT are joined in this case. So we'll consider triangles MPS and MQT. So we have these two triangles. Now in these two triangles, first of all, PM is equal to QM. It is already given to us. They are equidistant from the center, both these chords. So we have PM is equal to QM. Now, MS is equal to MT because both MS and MT are radii of the same circle. So, MS will be equal to MT. Both are radii and the length of radii of the same circle will always be same. Now, angle MPS is equal to angle MQT. Why do I say so? Because we know that when we talk about PM and QM, they are perpendiculars on the two chords. So, this angle and this angle will be 90 degrees. So, angle MPS is equal to angle MQT. Now, from this we can say that triangle MPS is congruent to triangle MQT. What is the axiom which we are using? Well, RHS congruency. Right angle, hypotenuse and side. Right angle, triangle MPS and MQT are right angles. So, they are equal. First criteria. Second, hypotenuse. When we talk about hypotenuse here, MS and MT, we have proved MS is equal to MT. So, hypotenuse is done. Then we have one side, PM is equal to QM. So, we have a pair of sides which are equal. So, from this we have RHS congruency and we can say that triangle MPS is congruent to triangle MQT. And what do we infer from this? We infer from this that PS is equal to QT. So, these corresponding sides of congruent triangles will be equal. Now, PS is equal to QT. Can we write them in another form? Well, we can write PS as half RS because PS is what? It is 1/2 of RS because the line segment PM is a perpendicular drop from the center. So, it will bisect the chord RS at P. So, definitely PS will be 1/2 of RS. So, we can write PS is equal to half RS. Similarly, in this case, QM is a perpendicular dropped on UT. So, again, we have a perpendicular bisector in this case. It bisects the chord UT at Q. So, we can say that QT is 1/2 of UT. So, QT is equal to half UT. So, from this we can infer that half RS is equal to half UT because PS and QT are same. So, even these will be equal. Or we can say that RS is equal to UT, isn't it? If half RS is equal to half UT, that means that RS is equal to UT. So, both these chords are proved equal in length. So, what did we see here? That if chords are equidistant, we can say that both the chords are equal in length, and that is how we prove it. And this theorem and its converse are important properties of circles. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can also register for free at deltastep.com to get all learning resources as per ICSE, CBSE, IB, Cambridge or any other curriculum. Over 5,000 amazing lectures across maths, science, English and social science. Our unique interactive video technology keeps you engaged, and our iDictionary feature allows you to quickly revise any concept. Master each topic at your own pace with our adaptive practice technology and 1 million plus questions. Get instant answers and detailed solutions. Be exam ready by taking unlimited mock tests, performance analysis along with actionable feedback, personal tutors to resolve your slightest of doubts. That's not all. You also get amazing prizes like PlayStations, iPads, watches and many more, along with certificates through our Earn As You Learn program. So at deltastep.com,
learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So register for free now.